Hey guys, welcome to this session by Great Learning. My name is Anirudh, and in this session, we're gonna check out a lot there is to know about Python, especially if you guys are non programmers or if you haven't worked with Python. But then, guys, before we begin with this session, can I get a quick confirmation from all of you all if I am perfectly audible and if you can see my screen fine? Head to the comment section and just put a quick yes if you can hear me fine and if you can see the screen fine, guys. All right, so I'm getting a lot of yeses. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the session by Great Learning. As I mentioned, my name is Anirudh. I hope all of you guys are keeping safe from the ongoing pandemic, taking all the measures required to keep yourself safe. But then, guys, before we begin with the session, give me one second of your time because I'm going to guide you about a very popular venture of Great Learning, which is Great Learning Academy. Now, I'm sure most of you might have heard of Great Learning Academy because this is a very popular platform where we have 500,000 plus learners, 1,000 hours of free learning content, and we get 3 million plus monthly views on all of the content we put out here. If you're wondering about Great Learning Academy, we provide courses for free here. It's completely free, and upon completion of these courses, of course, you will have a certificate of completion, all for free. You really do not have to pay anything. As you can see, we are in touch with Ivy League schools and prestigious universities across the globe. All of these courses are taught by subject matter experts and they're available in more than one language. Now, when you look at all the domains, we have 150 plus courses and we keep adding more and more for your benefit. Now, when you look at it, we have all the domains, everything from data science, machine learning, cloud computing, big data, digital marketing, interview preparation, job interview preparation as well. Now, guys, uh, if you are a student, if you're a person who's graduating, if you are a graduate, or if you're looking to switch careers, right? So, no matter where you are in your technical aspect of your career right now, I can promise you one thing: we here at Great Learning, and of course at Great Learning Academy, we have something that will cater to you guys to add upon and build upon your knowledge. And of course, if you keep scrolling, you can check out all the live sessions which is upcoming. So you can stay in touch with all the sessions that we'll have. And of course, you can reach the Great Learning app in multiple ways. One is definitely through the website, and of course we do have the Great Learning app, which is available both in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store as well. So you can reach Great Learning Academy, get started with courses for free, and again, as I mentioned, upon completion you will have a certificate of completion, all for free, guys. So you can enroll to multiple topics for free. Now, guys, coming back to the presentation, before we begin, I would like to tell all of you guys, if you love these sessions, I would highly appreciate if you could subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel, hit that bell icon next to it, so that you're always in touch with all the content that we are putting out here. It means a lot to it. It means a lot to us, and of course, if you do like the content, I would highly appreciate you guys like the video and of course share it among your friends and family members who can make complete use of this. So as usual, guys, this is going to be a highly interactive session for all the people who have been in my sessions before. You guys will know it's going to be a highly energetic, it's going to be a lot of interaction. So I would highly appreciate if you guys can head to the comment section, put down your queries at any moment of time. I'm actively monitoring the comments, so let's have a conversation about Python, and I'm gonna put down a wealth of information for you guys here. Now, coming to the session takeaways, what is it that you can expect from this session? It's a very interesting session about Python. We can start out by understanding why should you even learn Python and the skills that are needed to get started with Python, of course. Now, once you know the skills and how you can get started with it, I'm going to walk you through a lot of important things. For example, the popular Python libraries that are out there, and I'm sure you guys are very curious about a Python developer's salary. How strong is the career amongst the pandemic, what's the situation after the pandemic, and a lot of that, right? And at the end of it, we can take a quick walk through to show you guys some simple code snippets. Right, we'll discuss 3 or 4 code snippets where I'm going to be guiding you and asking you guys the output of the code. In fact, even though you might not know Python, there is a very good chance that you guys can answer questions by looking at code. That's something beautiful about Python, and I think you guys are gonna have fun. So make sure to stick till the end, for the walkthrough. And until then, let's have a good session, right, guys? Now, to get started with the session, let's start with a quick did you know. One of the most important things is that if you do not know yet, Python is one of the most popular programming language out there right now in the entire world. Previously, Java was the #1 programming language, but then Python came about, and Python is the #1 programming language now. Now, all of us love TV shows. I am, I myself am a fan of multiple TV shows, and all the streaming services that you look at, right? Be it Amazon Prime, be it Netflix, all of these big guys, they make use of Python extensively. Be it in their recommendation systems, be it anything for the backend, there is a little bit of Python. Now, guys, for all the people who have tuned in right now, right? In fact, you're using a product of artificial intelligence, you're using a product of Python, YouTube, right? Their recommendation system, their AI systems also make use of Python. And if you're wondering about how Python got its name, no, Python didn't get its name from the snake. It's not the snake of Python. There was actually a TV show called Monty's Python Circus. Based on the TV show, Guido van Rossum, the person who created Python, wanted to name it after, to pay a tribute to his favorite TV show, and hence the name, Python. Of course, you will already know that Python is an amazing choice for data science. It's one of the top preferred languages to know about if you're working with data science. It's used by thousands and thousands of companies across the globe. Think about startups, think about established companies, think about multinational corporations. All of these guys are using Python in one way or another, be it in a small way or be it in a business critical requirement phase. These guys are using it. So understand that your career prospects, especially with Python in the near future, is amazing, because there is always a constant requirement for expert Python developers. Harshapriya has a question. Python is used in backend or frontend? Well, guess what, Harshapriya? Python is used for both frontend and backend. I'll be discussing the varieties of where Python is adding a lot of value in today's world, so you guys can understand. Python sticks to the frontend aspects of things for now, but when you look at it, they are increasingly moving towards establishing a stronghold in all the domains. Because at the end of the day, Python is extremely popular. It gets amazing amount of working from the community. There is a lot of help in people actually wanting to build nice products with Python, and in fact give back to the language, give back to the community. Now that is something which is very important in my opinion. Of course, with Python comes really well paid jobs and salaries. So now, guys, you will have a question saying, okay, so why should we even learn Python? What should make me learn Python? I might not be from a computer science background. I do not know programming. I do not like programming. Is Python for me? What's so special about Python that everyone is learning on it and people find it easy to pick up on? Well, one of the most important things you really have to know is that Python is trending. Yes, it's a trending programming language. Now, this is a very rare kind of a sight in the case of IT, because when something is trending, the entire world jumps on it. In this case, even before it became trending, the entire world jumped on Python because everyone realized how powerful it is. When you look at the trends, when you look at how well Python is received among its community, among members and the data science forums especially, you have to understand that this gets a lot of outreach, this gets a lot of search. In fact, if you look at the graph, right from, be it 2005-ish, not long ago, right, 10 or 15 years ago, and then look at the spike that starts at maybe 2012, and the graph just keeps going up and up. Now, this is because there is a steep rise in interest for all the people around us, because they know, first of all, that everyone requires Python developers across the globe. Second is that having a career in Python is amazing, because you will have a lot of impact and you'll be writing code which is amazing to work with, first of all. And secondly, it's very important that when something is trending, if you try to work with the trend rather than against the trend, you can have a benefit at the end of it, be it knowledgeable benefits or be immediate monetary benefit, right? So something at the end is always waiting, and it is something that's going to help you, majorly. And when you look at what we can do with Python in the world around us, the domain support for Python is absolutely amazing. Everything from web development to big data to game development, user interface development, and data science, of course. Now, with web development, I'm not sure if you guys have worked with Python, but since I'm going to aim it at an audience who are beginners and intermediate people, with web development, you have to understand that back in the day there were only 2 or 3 programming languages. For example, think about HTML, think about CSS, think about JavaScript, which were the most important aspects of web development, right? Now with Django and Flask and all these other libraries, Python is coming to the center stage of web development, where everyone wants this. If you're applying for a web developer's role, there's a very good chance people are going to ask you if you know a Python library to work with that, right? So that's important. And when you think about it in the world of big data, well, there are a lot of libraries which will help you handle big data in the case of Python. And then game development, we have a lot of libraries as well. Pygame is a very popular library where you can build games, for not much of an effort to do it. And in the case of user experience development, right? Now, again, this was a domain which was untouched by Python until the last couple of years ago. And then people realized there are tools and technologies that you can work with using Python. You can in fact create a beautiful looking user interface and drive a great user experience as well. And then data science. Do I even have to talk about data science? Because that is the center of all of Python's use, at least in my opinion, because that is where it has had its, it has had its glory, I would say. And secondly, it is where I believe it is definitely, popular too. And then when you're looking at why Python is in fact so popular and liked by the community itself, you really have to understand 4 important points. One important point is that it's an interpreted language, unlike other languages which are which are compiled languages. Now, in the case of interpreted languages, what usually happens is the code that you write in, it gets executed line by line. So every single line gets executed. If it's all right, the program moves on. If it's not all right, the program is halted there. Rather than making sure that your entire program is compiled at once and then executed, right? So, for example, if you guys have worked with languages such as C, C++, that is the case there, right? Now guys, which other programming languages have you heard of apart from Python? It's okay if you haven't used it, but what are all the other programming languages that you've heard? Head to the comment section and let me know. And then when you look at how easy Python is to learn, you really have to understand that the code is amazingly written in a way where it is very close to the English language itself. It is 90% in a format written where you'll be literally talking to people. It's called as a high-level programming approach that people have taken in developing Python. So even a person who doesn't know Python can look at some basic code and guess what's happening in the code. That is important, right? And then built for dynamism. See, in a world where we're living, dynamic web pages, dynamic web applications, and a lot of dynamism is the center stage. People do not want to rebuild and start pushing out content. They want the content as it is, and edits to go on in the flow and then work without having anything to be paused. That is a dynamic approach, and Python helps for that as well. And of course, it is open source. At the end of the day, you really do not have to pay a penny to work with Python, right? That's amazing. And of course, looking at the comment section, Sujit says Java, Perl, Himaja says C, C++, Usha says C++, C Sharp, Java, SQL, of course, right? So all of these are programming languages, and they're very popular ones as well. But when you compare it head on with Python, I think it's not a bias, but it's the general opinion of the public that Python definitely is more powerful, more easier to use, and you can do a lot of you can have a big outcome with a lot less of code with Python. And then it is a popular choice among a lot of people because it has a huge library, right? It has thousands and thousands of modules, libraries, frameworks, whatever you want to call it. It has all of these. So even if you have a very complex problem that you're breaking your head upon and you're wondering how I can solve it, there is a very good chance that there is going to be a package in Python that will simplify your task in a long way, in a huge way. And of course, large community, there are hundreds hundreds and thousands of Python developers across the globe. So to reach out to a Python developer is easy, and you can take help from all of them as well. And as I mentioned, the syntax is amazingly easy to read. You do not have to put in a lot of efforts, unlike languages such as C, C++, or JavaScript. And it's a strongly typed language. A strongly typed language is very advantageous to the user in a way where if you have certain data that you have put into a variable, you do not have to specify saying, hey, the data that I've put in is an integer, the data that I've put in is characters, strings, or anything. Python is intelligent enough to understand what data you've put in and how it has to store it, right? So that is amazing. Okay, so Sibi has a question. What is libraries? Now, when you think about libraries, Sibi, it's like these tiny modules that will help shorten your code, and that you can have bigger outcomes. Now, libraries, good examples of libraries are NumPy, Pandas. You have TensorFlow, you have PyTorch. You have all of these libraries which are put into place so that you can you can write less amount of code, and the code that you write powered by these modules is going to have a bigger impact. For example, if you didn't have a library, you would have to write 100 lines of code in a hypothetical situation. With the library in place, for example, like TensorFlow and all of that, 6 or 7 lines of code is definitely going to help you with, rather than writing those 100 lines of code. That is the important aspect of that. And then what are in-demand programming languages for future? Well, Sandeep, you are asking an amazing question at the right time of the year, definitely, because trends for 2021 are strong. I would highly suggest you check out the Great Learning YouTube channel. We put out the top 10 programming languages video very recently, so I would highly suggest after the session you check the video out. That's going to be of very good use to you, I suppose. Now, coming to the skills that is needed to learn Python, right? So what do you need to learn Python? Let me tell you 4 important requirements that you really should work on. One is being data oriented, right? So being data oriented means that you have a love for data, you have a passion towards solving a problem using data, right? Now this is something which you might already be doing, but you wouldn't know it. For the people who love working with puzzles and all of that, you guys are already good at pattern matching, pattern recognition, all these things. The second important requirement you would require is, of course, out of the box thinking. Now understand this. I'll give you a very simple analogy. Think about you walking from your house to the nearest ice cream parlor, right? There is not only one road that you can take. I'm sure you can go via multiple streets, and you can take n number of routes to get there. Right now, that is an important thing, that you have to have this kind of a thinking when you're attacking a problem. Now, every problem will not just have one solution, it can have 100 solutions, and a person who can think at least 15 or 20 of these 100 solutions is considered to be a very intelligent person in the field of development. So have an out of the box thinking. Think unlike what everyone else is doing. See if you can find a solution that way, right? And the third important skill you'll require is logic building. Now see, sometimes it so happens that you are very good at logic, even though you might not have chances to build the logic and work with a programming language. In this particular case, it is an amazing skill, because what I have seen in beginners is that they can pick up amazingly quick on the syntax, but when it comes to building the logic, they are a little slow. If you already have this skill of building logic and understanding how you can work with it easily, well, you will go a really long way in learning Python, and without having to put much effort to solve problems as well. And then talking about how you can scale yourself up, right? See, Python is one of the most demanding job roles out there right now, not in terms of your time and effort, but in terms of your knowledge, in terms of how you can quickly pace up to the trends, how quickly can you use the latest libraries that are out there, latest version of Python, be it, or anything else, to provide the fastest, most effective solution that you can in your power. Now, to do that, you have to be good at learning, first of all. It's not just being good at learning, it's about learning right, because you will not have a lot of time to just sit and keep learning and then work on it later. So having the ability to learn is amazing. So what are some of the other important requirements that you think is stopping you from learning Python? Guys, I want you to head to the comment section. I want you guys to let me know what's stopping you from just starting out with Python and just beginning your programming career there. So if you put down answers to that, I can definitely help you guys. cross that bridge and help you get started with programming quicker. And then coming to Python itself, how can one get started with Python? As always, right, the first important step to learning Python or any programming language is you spend time to learn the fundamentals, learn the basics, understand how Python itself works. See, Python is a high level programming language, it's a multi paradigm language, it's an object oriented language, it's a high level language. So, all of these keywords, right, you need to know what these mean. You need to know the basics of how Python came about. Why do we use Python? Again, we checked all of this out. You need to understand where Python is used, which I bet you already know at this point. The next thing is to actually start using Python. Now, to actually start using Python, you really need to work with the foundations, right? Now, see, there is a very good chance you can skip across the foundations and fundamentals and build upon, and later in a point of time you will be stuck because your foundations are not strong enough, right? So if a building's foundation is not strong enough, a little wind or a little earthquake can bring the entire building down. Now, this you will not realize until you are a long way into your career or into your learning. So to avoid that kind of a thing, I would highly suggest, ladies and gentlemen, you work on the basic, understand the syntax, understand what Python is offering to you, understand what it is that you require, and then build upon that gap and bridge it, right? So after learning all the fundamentals, the next important thing is that you will be picking your own domain to work with. Now, I have a lot of comments here from people saying that you are interested in that particular domain, web development, data science, AI, and all of that, right? So Python actually provides solutions in all of these domains. Now, it is extremely vital in step number 2 that you understand what it is that you want to do. Now, how many guys here or girls, of course, how many people here are very much interested in data science, very much interested in artificial intelligence, very much interested in web development, game development, user interface development, big data? Right. Now, come on, guys, head to the comment section and just leave me a message if you are into any one of these domains. Hey, even cloud computing as well, because Python is reaching to the domains of cloud in one way or the other too. So be it in multiple domains, you need to know what it is that you want to do. Now, I'm sure a lot of the people will say, hey, I do want to get started with data science, or I do want to get started with web development when we are looking at Python. Yes, that is the most popular application out there, but first you need to know that, hey, this is what I want to do. Now, I'm seeing a lot of comments from people, be it Rajveshwa, Abdul, Nirbhay, Yogesh, Harshapriya, Himaja, Om Dalvi, Pradnesh Tech, all of these guys know where where you want to build upon using Python. That is the first important step, guys. You need to do this. You need to know where it is that you want to go, what domain is it that attracts your time. Probably when we were kids, when we looked at ice cream, we were really happy, right? Now you're supposed to look at IT domains, and one of these domains is going to make you happy just like that. Now pick up that domain and work towards that domain using Python itself. Now, if you are very much interested in finance, a simple Google search which says Python for finance is going to bring you a ton of articles where you can see how Python is having an impact in the field of finance. That's very interesting, right? So you do have to think like that. And then, of course, working with data. What do you do after knowing which domain you have to pick and the basic syntax of Python? Next, you have to learn the data structures. Now, ladies and gentlemen, data structures is one of these aspects of any programming languages, which is again part of a foundational concept, but I did not want to include it there because this is a specific thing that you have to know about. A data structure is a unit of how you can arrange and produce and manipulate data in a structured way. If you are if you have ever given a Python interview before in your life, or any programming language, data structures is one of these important concepts where a lot of interviewers love asking a lot of questions on. Why do you think that is the case, right? Data structures are tricky and people tend to skip this and learn ahead. So the interviewers know that you might not have spent a good amount of time here, hence they try to see if you actually have a good depth of knowledge. So you have to understand, if you know data structures in detail with Python, well, it'll help you a long way, all the way from being a beginner to being a data scientist, all the way from being a beginner to being a web developer as well. Understand that data structures structures in Python is something which is extremely important. And then when you're learning a new programming language, just try to see what others are doing, try to see what other domains are popular. Now, for example, whenever people think about Python, they always think about data science, but Python in the field of big data, Python in the field of game development is also very, very popular, right? So you have to be this person who will reach out to people, ask for help whenever it's needed, or just look at their work and understand what these people are doing. You have to learn from experts. For example, when you are tuned into this session, I am a subject matter expert on Python. I am a subject matter expert on AI, data science, deep learning, and all of these domains, and I can help you out with all the questions that you have. So it is very vital that you reach out. Once you ask for help, you're going to get help, and it's not just directly saying, hey, I want help. It's just looking at their projects, looking at their domains, seeing how their project is having an effect on the world, and then you trying to see, if you would be interested in doing that, right? Again, I'll give you a very good ice cream analogy. If you're a person, your entire life, if you have eaten just vanilla or chocolate or something, and you've never touched blackcurrant, right? Now, even if you have never tasted blackcurrant, you would not know if you like it or not. You might think, hey, I don't like it because I haven't tried it, but it won't make sense. It's just you guessing that you won't like it. But for you to actually not like it, you have to try it first, right? Same analogy in the case of programming as well. You have to try something to know if it's for you or not. On the surface, it might look difficult, but I would highly suggest you spend a good amount of your time looking out into other domains after you already focused on your domain. Now, this is an advice which not a lot of people are going to give you, but once you start in your domain, and if you took a wrong call at the start, you have a plan B here where you can look into other domains as well, in case if that is the criteria. Apart from that, for curiosity's sake, to increase your knowledge, and of course to be a person who knows a lot about Python, you need to do this as well. Milind has a question: how one can start learning Python without coding knowledge and get job when I've completed graduation 6 years before. Now, Milind, you have to understand that your graduation will not play a long part in Python, especially because whoever is hiring for Python developers today are interested in your skills and for example, how much of Python you know and how well versed you are with that. Now, to get started with Python, to get started with working on Python, we have multiple courses on Great Learning Academy where you can get started for free. So once you build upon Python, once you've worked on projects, then you can apply for a job, and you can definitely work on building a serious career in Python. Zarina has a question: sir, can I get a certificate? Zarina, if you check out Great Learning Academy, we have courses. We have multiple courses, 150 plus courses in multiple domains, multiple languages, where upon completion of a course, you will be given a free course completion certificate as well. So I would highly suggest you check out Great Learning Academy. But then, of course, make sure you stick till the end of the session, because we're going to be having a fun discussion ahead when we're checking out the practical aspects as well. Now, Purnima has a question: how much salary in the Python developer? Well, Purnima, we are going to discuss Python developers' salary as well, so just make sure to stick around for a while. Zarina, I want to learn any courses and get certificate. Please help me. Of course, Zarina, we are here to help you here. As I just told you, make sure to head to Great Learning Academy. In Great Learning Academy, you can find over 150 courses. You can pick the Python courses. Again, it's available in multiple languages based on whatever language it is that you prefer learning in. Go there, you can enroll for free, you can get started for free, learn for free, and at the end of the day, once you complete the course, right, you can have a course completion certificate for free as well. Anyway, coming back, the next important point is you have to challenge yourself with complex problems in Python. It is very important not only that you learn Python, it is that you need to learn things which you haven't learned yet. Now, what is one of the fun ways to do that? It's challenges, right? So one of the most important things, you guys might have heard of Kaggle. Kaggle is a place where a lot of competitions happen, where people come together to solve different problems in different ways altogether, right? So participating in Kaggle challenges is one of the important aspects that you can definitely look towards, because only when you push yourself out of your comfort zone, be it in programming languages or be it anything in IT, will you learn, right? In that particular case, it's not only Kaggle. You can just pick up any any programming quizzes, programming challenges, and then get started with it. See if you can work on it. If you can do it well enough, step up the difficulty. If you cannot do it, understand why couldn't you do it, what it is that you need to learn, and sit and learn that. Pretty simple, right? So when you think about it, it's really so much of things that you can do. All you have to do is, guys, you have to push through. You have to learn the basics, and then you have to venture out to see where you can build upon. Now, I cannot tell you, hey, everyone come towards data science, or hey, everyone go towards web development. It is in your interest that you have to guide yourself through, but then to walk you through the path, we definitely are here to help you out there. So once you have pushed through challenges, once you have finished a couple of challenges, what it is that you can do? Well, one important thing is that you have to prepare for your job. Now, after all your preparation, what is your goal? Now, a lot of you have told me that your goal is to get a job in Python, or is to start a career in Python, right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, again, we have a lot of people watching the session. I want you to head to the comment section, and I want you to tell me about what is your goal with Python? What do you want to do when you learn Python? Do you want a job? Do you want to teach Python itself? Do you want to build projects using Python? What it is that you want to do with Python, I definitely want to know. So make sure you head to the comment section and let me know about your interest, your passion, your goal towards Python as well. Right. So coming on, preparing for jobs is something which is very interesting. Again, we have a section in Great Learning Academy which is completely towards job preparation as well. So make sure to check that out too. You have to understand that Python is a very popular programming language. This means that there are a lot of people who are learning Python. And thirdly, if there are a lot of people learning Python, if you go to a job interview, you will have high amount of competition, right? So with high amount of competition, to get ahead of this competition, you have to prepare. So understand what it is that people are asking in the interviews, so you can look towards interview questions in Python, prepare for those questions. So when you ask that in the interview, even the tricky questions, even the most interesting questions, out of the box thinking kind of questions, you have the capability to answer. So prepare for interviews, use interview questions sets to learn, and just see if you can learn something which is probably unique to the company that you're applying for. If you applied for a healthcare company where you want to become a Python developer, see what products they sell, see what is the methodology that they use to get there. And of course, guys, you have to be a little innovative. Now I have the replies from all the people who with your goals in Python, and it's beautiful to read all your goals, because at the end of the day, I am sure with all the people who have tuned in here, I am extremely confident in you guys that you guys can get to your goal if you take it slow, if you take it easy, and at the end of the day, you keep your learning structured. Because if you rush through a programming language, it becomes very difficult. And I think a lot of you people who might have rushed through a programming language before can agree, right? You will get burnt out, and you will not have a good impact on yourself, your learning, and then you'll get bored of it and you'll quit Python, right? So that is the important thing. Take it slow, keep it structured. So it doesn't end with you having just a job in Python, because once you have, you might have prepared for your job, your career is started, you're at your first job. Of course, they're going to give you training depending on the company and all of that, but it is always added knowledge that you guys know all the packages and the libraries that you might have to work with, because these libraries and packages in themselves are huge. I'll tell you that. Because you will require a lot of learning, you'll require a lot of knowledge to understand how easy your work will become later. So once you learn the libraries, later things will start becoming easy. But then, guys, you have to get there, right? So these are like assets. You really need this in your programming language journey. Now, there are multiple packages, among which I think two of the most popular packages are NumPy and Pandas, which I can think of. NumPy is used for numerical computation, and Pandas is used for statistical analysis. You can work with single dimensional data, you can work with multi-dimensional data, you can combine and store this data in data structures. For example, pandas has something called a series and data frames as well. So you can work with your data, manipulate it, store it in different forms, and then later put it for use. Since you're looking towards Python in web development, Python in testing, Python in data science and all of that, you will be working with a lot of data, and having the knowledge of these things is extremely important, ladies and gentlemen. And for all the dear viewers who are very much interested towards the field of artificial intelligence, data science and deep learning, well, and of course machine learning as well, you will require knowledge about all of these, or one of these at least. Scikit-learn is a very popular learning package, Python package. All of these are free again. Whatever we're discussing here is completely free. Scikit-learn is very popular to work with machine learning and machine learning algorithms. TensorFlow is amazing, especially when it comes to deep learning solutions. And PyTorch, TensorFlow is again from the people at Google. PyTorch is from the developers at Facebook. Facebook, when it was first built, they used a neural network package called Torch, and then they added Py to it to denote that they're working with Python. So then it became PyTorch, right? So these packages are some of the things, if you're looking towards data science, I would highly suggest that you guys have it in your arsenal, because it's going to take you a long way. Just know the basics of it, even if you aren't looking towards data science, because there's a good chance that an interviewer want to see if you have explored out of your path, out of your domain, and can ask you a question saying, hey, what is TensorFlow, why is it used for, right? If you do not know, or if you've never heard of TensorFlow, there's a good chance your competition might know it, right? So make sure you do know that. And then it's not just about bringing in data, working with it and all of that. It's all about keeping your data understandable by everyone else, right? Now, if there is a problem and you're intelligent enough to solve it, well and good. But what if I cannot understand your solution at all? Correct? To understand your solution, you need to make sure that a wide variety of audience can see what it is that you're doing, can understand what it is that you are trying to portray or you're trying to produce there. So we have beautiful libraries in Python called Matplotlib and Seaborn. This is used for beautiful data visualization applications, where you can take in a lot of textual data, convert it into beautiful looking graphs, dashboards and all of that, right? So these two libraries are again very, very popular in Python. So guys, out of all these libraries that I mentioned, packages that I mentioned, have you guys used any of these? If you do have used any of these, or if you do know any of the names of these packages, just type in their packages in the comment section. I would highly appreciate it. And of course guys, as I mentioned, if you're liking what the content that you're seeing on your screen, and if you're liking the liking all the knowledge that you're gaining from this video, can you please take a second and hit the like button, because it would mean a lot to us and of course help us grow as well. I would highly appreciate if you guys could like the video, and then of course subscribe if you haven't. Now, an important aspect before we even get into looking towards the Python developer salary, I want to hold you guys for 1 second here, because I want to show you the syntaxes of Python. I want to show you how easy it is to work with Python itself. So guys, give me 1 second. Let me work on the practical aspect of it. Basically, for all the people who do not know, this is Google Colaboratory. Google Colaboratory is a Python Jupyter notebook, which is hosted on the Google Cloud platform. This means that you do not have to install Python on your computer. You do not have to install any libraries. Sometimes they will not work, sometimes they will work. A lot of people whom I have seen who have told me, hey, I quit Python, is because they think it is complex to set it up. Let me tell you, it is not really complex. All you have to do is have a Google account, open collab.research.google.com. You can just type in your Python code, hit play, and it works. Right now, I see that the screen is a little low in font. So let me quickly zoom in on the screen, so to make sure that all of you guys can see, for all the people who have tuned in from the mobile phones. All right. Now, to look at some basic syntax in Python, right? Now, you do not really have to know much about Python. We're going to talk about comments. But first of all, can someone tell me what these 3 lines does in Python, right? You have very simple, you have 3 lines of code in Python. In fact, you have the meaning right next to it as well. So what do you think this does? X equal to 3, x equal to x into 3, print x. right? Now, even though you might not know what Python does, can someone tell me, what this does? Right, now until you guys go on to type in the answer, let me tell you, x is a variable. We have put in the value 3 inside x, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to multiply x here. X is 3, so this becomes 3 into 3, and x's value now gets updated from 3 to 9. So as soon as we go and print x, we're trying to say, hey, what is the output of this? So it's going to print 9. As soon as I hit run, you're going to see the output is 9, right? Pretty simple. Now, why have I mentioned comments in Python, and why have I been very specific about this? Now, as a good programmer, as a good person basically who wants to help see, for example, if you're working in a multinational company, you will not be the only person who's working on code. You'll be working in a team, and there's a very good chance this piece of code is accessed by a lot of people. Now, if you've written something that they cannot understand, it is meaningless. So make sure you comment your code. Comments will not get executed in Python, right? Now I can put in whatever comment I want. For example, hello dear learners, right? Python will not execute this, but if I remove the hashtag, it doesn't understand that it is a comment anymore. Now if I run it, it's going to give me an error. It is like, what is this? It doesn't understand that. But a quick hashtag, it's a comment. Comments completely are ignored by the Python interpreter, and when I run this, we are back at the code. You can have single line comments. This is a single line comment. You can have multi-line comments. Well, you just have to put a hashtag. If you put a hashtag, it's a comment. As simple as that in Python. Min Malhotra says, please repeat this site. Okay, Min Malhotra, what do you want me to repeat? Just put down in the comment section of what you want me to repeat. I'll be more than happy to do so. And while we get to that, the next thing is using variables in Python, right? Now, what does this print, ladies and gentlemen? The simple 4 lines of code. It says number of laptops equal to 2, owner name equal to Anirudh Rao. Well, that's my name. I'm trying to print number of laptops, and I'm trying to print the owner's name. Now, what do you think is going to be the output? Of course, for all the people who know Python as well, guys, I want you to head to the comment section, help the fellow people out in the comment section who do not know the language, right? Again, you guys gave me beautiful answers for the first code snippet. This is a very easy one. We are not going to touch anything complex. I just have 3 or 4 code snippets, which I think you definitely should see. Right now, while you guys answer, again, 2 is an integer value which I've assigned to a variable called number of laptops. It can be anything. I can put in my name here if I want to as well. And then I have another variable called owner name, and I've put in my name. This is a string. As you can see, I have used double quotes, or if you use single quotes, that becomes a string. It is a character data. That's what you're telling Python. And then you're printing it. Whenever we say print in the programming language, we're trying to output that. Now let me run this. It has to say number of laptops equal to 2, owner's name equal to Anirudh Rao. How nice is this? How simple is this, right? You didn't do anything. You just wrote 2 lines of code. But to go on to work with Python, again, comments are very important. You're going to see there is comments here. If you have a question saying, can I just put in whatever I want for the name of the variables? The answer is no. There is an important concept called as reserved keywords. Reserved keywords is something that you cannot use in Python. For example, if you do this, for is equal to 10, this will not work. This is going to give you an error straight up because for is a reserved keyword. See, it says invalid syntax. It says you cannot use this. There are many other keywords. For example, and you cannot use and. There are so many. There's around 33 or more reserved keywords which you cannot use whenever you're working with Python. You really have to stick to the names as well. But these names you can have it anything. Start with a character. You can start with an underscore, and then you can have anything. Number of laptops 222. Well, guess what? This is a very good variable. Of course, you have to keep it meaningful. Now, if I just, instead of number of laptops, if I just put it A, if I just put this as B, then yes, it would still work. But what is A, what is B, what are you trying to tell people, right? So you have to make sense of variables. Sibi says, can you give real world example of variable? Well, Sibi, variables are literally used everywhere. They are the basic concepts of Python. As you can see, this is an integer value. Now if I have to make it a floating point value, I'm sure you've learned in your schools and in your younger days, 2.5 is also a number, right? In many cases you cannot have 2.5 in real life. You cannot have 2.5 apple that occurs naturally. If you have 3 apples, if you cut one and throw away the other half, you have 2.5 apples. But in the case of numbers, we can have anything, right? There's a very famous number, blah 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 blah, all of this 3.1418, something like this is the value of pi. That is a number as well, right? Okay, Min says the Jupyter notebook in my Anaconda does not run pandas and NumPy. Well, that is exactly my point, Min. You can actually go on to solve that first of all easily. They do work if you can, if you've had some experience working. But what I would suggest is just get to this website, Min. It's collab.research.google.com. After this session, make sure to get here. You will need a free Google account. You will just start typing in Python, import the libraries, and get started with it. You do not have to install anything. It's really easy. It's really intuitive to work with this as well. Right, guys. So again, I've let me just print it out, fix the error, and then perfectly. Next, we can check out basic arithmetic operation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to head to the comment section. This is basic stuff. I want you guys to give me the output here. Right, so a is a variable with value 10, b is a variable with value 6. So what happens when we execute all of this? I've already put down the answer in the comments, but let me know until where you can tell me the answer of, and then I can guide you. Right, and of course Kashyap is right in guiding Min. He says you have to install NumPy and pandas. Again, that is all the things, right? In the conda prompt, you just have to go on to put in a command which is going to install, and then you'll have to sit and configure it. But this is, again, all of this is avoided in Google Colab is my entire point. So to simplify it, to get started with it quickly, you can jump on this. But then of course, as I told you, there's multiple ways you can fix what's happening with your conda prompt as well. Right, then guys, now coming, what is 10 plus 6? It's 16. What is 10 minus 6? It's 4. What is 10 into 6? It's 60. What is 10 by 6? Now what's the answer going to be for 10 by 6? Because 6 does not 10 does not fit in 6 equally, right? And then what is 10 percentage 6? What are we doing with 10 percentage 6? Well, it's called as a modulus operator. Now what a modulus operator does is, instead of giving you the divider output, for example, if b was 5, 10 by 5 will give you 2, right? That is what division does. With modulus, we are trying to print the remainder out. Now, if you divide 10 and then you just try to divide 10 by 6, you will have a remainder. You're going to put in 6 2s are 12, or you'll have a remainder called 2. That is exactly what we're trying to print with modulus, 2. And then you have exponentiation. Exponentiation is basically raising this to the power of this. Now, if I put a double star b, it means raise 10 to the power of 6, right? Let me run this piece of code. Now, as I told you, 10 plus 6 is 16, 10 minus 6 is 4, 10 into 6 is 60. Division, you're going to get an answer, of course. When you go on to hit 10 by 6 in a calculator, it's going to give you 1.666. And then look at the modulus, right? So now as soon as you go and divide 6 with 10, what is going to be the remainder value? You're going to get the remainder value with modulus, and 10 raised to 6 is how much? It's 10 lakh, right? So this is exactly the value that you have gone here. And let's quickly look at two more things. Now we're looking at we're looking at logical operators in Python. A is 5, B is 8. Now we're trying to see if we can use basic English language here. Now, is A greater than 3 and A less than 7? Is both of these conditions true? Is A greater than 3 first of all? Yes, A is 5, 5 is greater than 3. And means yes, this has to be correct, and the second part also has to be correct. Is A less than 7? The answer is correct, right? A is greater than 3, which is 5. A is less than 7, which is 5. So this is perfect. So whenever you use a logical operator called as AND, if both of the conditions are true, it is going to print exactly that. It's going to say, hey, it is true. What you say is absolutely correct. And then you have another one. You have what we call as OR. OR literally says, hey, either this or this. I don't mind whichever one is correct, but one has to be correct if you want a true output. Is A greater than 6? The answer is no. A is 5. 5 is not greater than 6. And then is B less than 7? The answer is, well, is 8 less than 7? The answer is no, right? So if either of these conditions are true, then only it will return true. And then you have a condition which is not. Now, not is one of these amazing things which is going to reverse everything literally. Now, is A greater than 3? Is 5 greater than 3? The answer is yes, right? But if you have a not before that, it's going to read the opposite of it. Is A greater than 3? The answer is true. But since a not is present there, it's going to say false. A is not greater than 3. Now, as you can look at it, it's going to say true, false, false. True because both of these conditions are correct. False because we are never checking any of these conditions to see if it works or not. None of these conditions are true, so it's false. And then, is A greater than 3? The answer is supposed to be true, but still it is false because we are making use of a not. There, correct? And then when we look at user input, user input is one of these amazing things where you can enter and work with Python. For example, let me start typing in this piece of code. It says, where do you live? I say I live in Bengaluru. As soon as I hit enter, you say the city you live in is Bengaluru. How nice is this, right? Now guys, where are you guys from? I would love to know more about you guys. Which city are you tuning in to this session from? Which part of the world are you tuning into this session? Guys, quickly head to the comment section, put in the name of your city, from where you are coming from, and we can quickly get back to the presentation. We can check out a Python developer's salary and we can get ahead. But then to do that, guys, head to the comment section quickly and let me know from which part of the world you are tuning in to our session today. And in the meantime, let me just quickly grab a gulp of water. Okay, so we have a lot of people tuning in from Bombay, we have Bengaluru, we have Warangal, we have Chennai, Haryana. So a lot of people tuning in from a lot of places around the country, and we have someone from London as well. So beautiful guys, welcome to the session again. If you have joined in late, we had a very good discussion. This video is going to be available after the live session ends, so you can check out what all it is that we discussed. But wherever you're tuning in from, understand that you're sitting at home, working from home. That's, I think, how it's going to be in 2021 as well, at least a little bit of 2021 until the vaccine comes out. So you have everything. If you have an internet connection to watch this video, I can assure you that you have everything you need to get started with Python. Now, coming back to discuss about a Python developer's salary, the roles are amazing and the salary trends are really nice. Now, you're going to start your career as an associate Python developer. You will get an average salary in India of somewhere around 5,60,000 rupees per year, per annum, of course, and then around $66,000 in the USA. Now, if you're a senior Python developer with maybe 2 or 3 or even 4 years of experience, you can have an average salary of around 10 lakhs per annum in India and around $97,000 in the USA. And once you become a lead and once you have a lot of knowledge about Python, you can become a lead project developer where the salary is above 20 lakhs per annum in India and above $115,000, $120,000 in the USA. So looking at salary numbers, you will have a question saying, I am from a mechanical background, I'm from a civil background, I do not have a graduation in computer science. Will I still get these salaries? Now, your salary does not depend on your graduation. Your salary depends on the skill that you have, how quickly can you solve a problem, how effectively can you work with Python, and how well can you add value to the company you're applying for. If you have good enough skills, people from across the world are ready to pay you and hire you. Now, how many Python developer roles did you see getting laid off during the pandemic? Very, very, very little, a minuscule amount, right? Why? Even during the pandemic, even during a small recession period that we had, everyone still wanted to hire more Python developers because they had problems that required solving. If they didn't want Python developers, they would have just fired everyone, right? That didn't happen. People know the value of Python development, and that is very important for you to understand. And with this, you will have a complete knowledge of how one can sit and work towards having a beautiful career in Python. Everything from understanding foundations all the way till preparing for a job. You can get ready and have a course, start with a course in Python, and then you can definitely work towards specializations post graduations and whatnot with Python, and you guys can definitely work towards your expertise there. So guys, with that, you have come to the end of the session. Again, to reiterate, I would definitely ask all of you guys to check out the Great Learning Academy. Here you can have enroll in courses for free. You have multiple levels of courses. For example, if you are looking towards Python, right, just go to the search block, type in Python. See, you will find all the courses. We have courses in Hindi as well. We have Python Foundation for Beginners is a course that you guys definitely can use. We have a lot of people who have enrolled in this course, and you can learn a lot of things, get started all for free, and you can get a lot of knowledge as well. So I would highly suggest, it's not just this, any domain that you're interested in, make sure to head to Great Learning Academy, sign up. You just have to click sign up here, put in your details. You'll have an account, and once you have your account, you can definitely work towards that, right? So guys, with this note, you have come to the end of the session. If you loved whatever you saw, all the content, all the learning, I would highly appreciate if you guys can like the video. It would mean a lot to us. Make sure to subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel. Through this you can stay in touch with everything that we are putting out. It is very vital, especially now that you're in touch with the channel, because a lot of we're catering for a lot of things that will happen in 2021. So if you already know what's going to happen, 2021 is not very far off. It's less than 10 days ahead, right? So knowing and staying ahead of the competition is something important for you all. And of course, all of this knowledge is given to you in either Great Learning Academy, or in the Great Learning YouTube channel, or Great Learning blogs as well. So make sure to check out whatever you're comfortable with. Get started there, and I wish all of you all the very best for your learning in Python. And of course, we're gonna have multiple sessions in the future as well. As always, you have been an amazing audience. I'm more than excited to see you guys in the next one. Until then, stay safe. You're sitting at home, make the complete use out of it. Make sure you keep your learning up, and at the end of the day, upskill yourselves and get ahead. Because Python is a beautiful programming language, and I'm sure you guys are going to appreciate it as much as I am. All right, guys, stay safe. Have a good evening. I'll see you on the next one.